All right, let's cut the crap. Ever looked at those slick motherfuckers in Congress raking in the dough and thought, how the hell are they getting so rich?
It's a goddamn good question. We're diving deep into the swamp of congressional insider trading today. You might be surprised how often these guys get away with some seriously shady shit.
We're talking about those senators dumping stocks right before the COVID market crashed. Remember that shit show back in 2020?
Oh, absolutely. That whole thing was a masterclass in how to profit off a global pandemic. The Wikipedia article on the 2020 congressional insider trading scandal lays it all out. Senator Kelly Loeffler and her husband, the chairman of the goddamn New York Stock Exchange, sold off a shit ton of stock, somewhere between $1,275,000 and $3,100,000 worth.
And it wasn't just her. Senator David Perdue, that smug bastard, was right there with her, dumping around $825,000 worth of stock and then turning around and buying $1.8 million worth of other stocks.
The timing is what really makes you raise an eyebrow. He started buying stock in DuPont, the company that makes all that PPE gear, the same day as that Senate briefing on COVID.
Yeah. Talk about suspicious as fuck. It's like they knew the world was about to go to shit and decided to cash in on the chaos.
John Hooven from North Dakota jumped on that bandwagon too, dropping $250,000 on health science companies just 5 days after that pandemic briefing. And don't forget Dianne Feinstein. She dumped a whole chunk of stock in Allogene Therapeutics. We're talking somewhere between $1.5 million and $6 million.
Of course, they all claim they were just using public info. Give me a break. That's about as believable as a politician promising to lower taxes.
The public was pissed, and rightfully so. This wasn't just some petty bullshit. It made everyone question the whole goddamn system. If these supposed public servants were lining their pockets at the expense of the people they're supposed to represent, what other shady crap were they pulling?
And the worst part, they basically got away with it. The Department of Justice launched an investigation, but surprise, surprise, no charges were filed against any of those senators.
That's where the Stako-Sheng Act comes in. They signed this thing into law back in 2012, supposedly to stop those greedy bastards from using non-public info to make a quick buck.
You think a piece of paper is going to stop these snakes? Please. Richard Burr, that same asshole who dumped all that stock before the COVID crash, voted against the Stock Act back in 2012. Can you believe that shit? Talk about a hypocrite.
Well, it does show you how limited laws are when it comes to stopping people from being unethical. You can have all the rules in the world, but if no one enforces them, they're just words on a page. And when the people in charge of upholding those laws look the other way.
It's a fucked up system, that's for sure. And it's not just about COVID either. This Wikipedia article mentions Senator Burr dumping stock in a Dutch fertilizer company back in 2018, right before it tanked, because of Trump's sanctions. Coincidence? I don't fucking think so.
It's a pattern of behavior that's hard to ignore, and it raises a very interesting question for our listeners. If these motherfuckers can get away with it, can we?
All right, here's where things get really interesting for you folks at home. We all know insider trading is illegal as hell. You'll end up in a cell faster than you can say Wall Street. But seriously, where do you draw the line?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? Let's say you're at a bar and overhear some hotshot talking about a stock tip. Is it insider trading if you act on it?
Or what if your buddy's dad works for some big-time company and mentions a new product launch? You're not technically stealing information, right?
Yeah.
Where's the line between being a savvy investor and being a criminal?
That's where things get murky. Even if you stumble across information casually, if it's something that isn't public knowledge and could affect a company's stock price, using it to buy or sell could get you into some serious shit. Remember, those senators are playing a dangerous game, and they have lawyers and connections to help them out. You, my friend, probably don't. You know, this whole insider trading thing makes you realize just how fucked up this system really is.
Yeah, it's like those assholes in Congress are playing by a different set of rules.
It's all about power and information, right? They've got access to shit the rest of us don't, and they use it to line their own pockets.
And they get away with it because they're the ones who make the fucking rules.
Mm-hmm.
It's enough to make you want to say fuck it and join them in the swamp.
Hold on there, partner. That's exactly what they want. They want us to be cynical, to give up, to think the whole system is rigged. Because when we lose faith in the system, they win.
So what are we supposed to do? Just sit back and watch them get richer while we struggle to pay our bills?
Hell no. We fight back. We expose their shady dealings. We hold them accountable. We demand better.
Easier said than done, my friend. These guys are like Teflon-coated cockroaches. Nothing sticks to them.
That's why we need to be smarter, savvier. We need to play the game better than they do. And that starts with understanding how they operate.
So you're saying we need to think like those crooked politicians.
Not in a criminal sense, of course, but we can learn from their tactics, their strategies. They're masters at spotting opportunities, at anticipating trends.
Okay, I'm listening. Give me an example.
Remember that senator who bought stock in DuPont, the PPE manufacturer? He saw a need that was about to explode. A global pandemic was about to create a massive demand for protective gear, and he capitalized on it.
Yeah, the greedy bastard. But I see your point. He was thinking ahead, anticipating a future trend.
Exactly. Now, we can't replicate that exact scenario. We don't have access to top secret government briefings. But we can learn to pay attention to the signals, to the whispers in the wind.
So we're talking about being more aware of what's happening in the world, right? Reading the news, following industry trends, that kind of thing.
Precisely. It's about connecting the dots, seeing the bigger picture.
All right, I'm starting to get it. But how do we turn this awareness into actual profits? How do we make money off of this?
That's where the real work comes in. It's not about get-rich-quick schemes or magic formulas. It's about research, analysis, and a willingness to take calculated risks.
Sounds like a lot of effort. Can't I just buy some Bitcoin and hope for the best?
You can, but that's gambling, not investing. If you want to build real wealth, you need to have a strategy. You need to understand the market, the forces at play, the factors that drive prices up or down.
Okay, so where do we start? What are the key takeaways here?
First, stay informed. Read the news, follow industry publications, pay attention to what's happening in the world. Don't just focus on the headlines. Dig deeper. Look for the underlying trends.
Right. Knowledge is power and all that jazz. What else?
Second, think critically. Don't just accept information at face value. Question assumptions, look for hidden agendas, consider multiple perspectives.
So, like, be a skeptical motherfucker.
Exactly. Don't be afraid to challenge the status quo. The market is full of bullshit artists and snake oil salesmen. You need to be able to separate the truth from the hype.
Okay, what else?
Third, be patient. Don't expect to get rich overnight. Building wealth takes time, discipline, and a willingness to learn from your mistakes.
So, no get-rich-quick schemes.
Definitely not. Those are usually scams designed to prey on the desperate. Building real wealth is a marathon, not a sprint.
All right, starting to see the bigger picture here.
Yeah.
We can use this whole congressional insider trading scandal as a wake-up call. A reminder that the system might be rigged, but we can still outsmart those who are rigging it.
Exactly. We can learn from their tactics, even as we condemn their actions. We can turn their corruption into an opportunity for growth, for empowerment. And we can do it all while staying on the right side of the law.
Damn, that's actually pretty inspiring. So what you're saying is we can use this knowledge to become better investors, better citizens, and ultimately better versions of ourselves.
That's the idea. We can't control what those senators do, but we can control our own actions. We can choose to be informed, ethical, and resilient. We can choose to build a better future, one smart investment at a time.
All right, I'm fired up. Let's go make some money.
Now you're getting it. But before you rush off to Wall Street, there's one more crucial piece of this puzzle we need to discuss.
All right, lay it on me. What else is there?
We've talked about the dangers of insider trading, the importance of staying informed, and the power of ethical investing. But there's one element that often gets overlooked, the psychological game.
What do you mean?
Think about those senators again. They're not just making calculated decisions based on cold, hard facts. They're also driven by emotions, greed, fear, ambition. And those emotions can cloud their judgment, lead them to make risky bets.
So you're saying they're not always as smart as they think they are?
Exactly. Even the most seasoned investors can fall prey to their own biases. They can get caught up in the hype, let their emotions dictate their actions, and that's where we can gain an edge.
Okay, I'm intrigued. How do we use their emotional weaknesses to our advantage?
By being aware of our own emotions, first and foremost, we need to understand how fear and greed can influence our decisions and learn to control those impulses.
So like, don't panic sell when a market takes a dip, and don't chase after the latest hot stock.
Exactly. We need to develop a disciplined approach to investing, one that's grounded in logic and reason, not swayed by the whims of the market.
All right, that makes sense. But how do we avoid getting sucked into the emotional roller coaster of the market?
By having a clear investment strategy, one that's aligned with your goals and risk tolerance. And by sticking to that strategy even when things get bumpy.
So like having a plan and not deviating from it no matter what.
Precisely. It's easy to get caught up in the excitement of a bull market or the fear of a bear market. But if we have a solid plan in place, we're less likely to make impulsive decisions that we later regret.
Okay, I'm starting to see the importance of this psychological game. But it still seems kind of abstract. Can you give me some concrete examples of how to apply this knowledge?
Absolutely. Let's say you're researching a potential investment. You've read the company's financial reports, you've analyzed their industry, and you're feeling optimistic about their prospects.
Sounds good so far.
But then you start reading online forums and see all this hype about the company. People are predicting crazy gains, saying it's the next big thing. That's when you need to take a step back.
That's when the FOMO kicks in, right?
Yeah.
The fear of missing out on all that sweet, sweet cash.
Exactly. And that's when you need to ask yourself, is this hype for real? Or am I just getting swept up in the frenzy? Remember, the market is driven by emotion as much as logic. Smart investors learn to filter out the bullshit.
So I should be wary of hype, even if it sounds convincing.
Always. Those senators, they're playing a whole different game than you. Focus on companies with solid financials, a proven track record, and a clear advantage over their competitors. Don't get seduced by empty promises.
Okay, I need to be rational, disciplined, and skeptical.
Got it.
What about the other side of the coin? What about fear?
Fear can be just as dangerous as greed. It can stop you from taking risks, from seizing opportunities.
Like when the market crashes and everyone loses their shit.
Exactly. Market downturns are inevitable. They're part of the cycle. And a lot of times, they're the best time to buy.
So I should be buying when everyone else is selling.
Not necessarily. But don't let fear make your decisions. If you've done your research and you believe in a company, a market dip can be a chance to buy at a discount.
So, be greedy when others are fearful, and fearful when others are greedy.
That's the classic Warren Buffett advice. And it's surprisingly accurate. Think for yourself, and don't follow the herd.
This psychological game is powerful stuff. It's not just about numbers. It's about understanding human behavior.
It's the overlooked element, but it can be the most important.
What's the most important advice you can give someone starting out in investing?
Invest in yourself. Before you invest in any stocks, bonds, or real estate, invest in your own education.
So, read books, take courses, and talk to experts.
Exactly. The more you learn, the better equipped you'll be to navigate the financial world.
Knowledge is power, after all.
In the world of investing, knowledge can mean the difference between success and failure. Take the time to educate yourself, develop your skills, and become a confident, informed investor.
This deep dive has been a game changer.
I'm glad we could shed some light on this topic.
Now, if you'll excuse me, I've got some investing to do.
Good luck out there. And remember, stay informed, stay disciplined, and most importantly, stay ethical.
Remember those pissed off people we talked about at the beginning?
The ones furious about those senators and their stock shenanigans. Yeah, I remember.
That anger wasn't just about lost money. It was about fairness.
Right, the whole equal justice under the law thing, except some folks seem more equal than others.
Exactly. And when you see those in power abusing the system, it makes you wonder if the whole damn game is rigged.
That's a dangerous thought, because when people lose faith in the system, they start participating.
So why even bother voting if the politicians are all corrupt?
Precisely. And that apathy can have serious consequences. It allows corruption to thrive.
It's a vicious cycle. Corruption breeds cynicism. Cynicism breeds apathy. And apathy allows corruption to grow.
Exactly. We need to speak out against this behavior.
Right.
And hold those in power accountable.
But they're like slippery eels, always getting out of trouble.
It starts with awareness. We need to expose their shady dealings and make sure the public knows what's going on.
That's our job, right? Spreading the word and exposing the truth.
Exactly. We need to be the watchdogs, the whistleblowers, and we need to demand better from our elected officials. We're fighting for a system that's fair, transparent, and accountable. A system where everyone plays by the same damn rules.
It's a tough fight, but someone's got to do it.
The more people join the fight, the stronger we become.
Right on. There's power in numbers. Let's rally the troops, expose the bullshit, and take back our democracy.
This whole deep dive into congressional cash grabs has been a wild ride.
We've exposed the hypocrisy, explored the psychology, and hopefully given you some ideas on how to make smart moves.
Remember, the system might be rigged, but you're not powerless. Stay informed, stay vigilant, and stay ahead of the game.
And who knows, maybe you'll even turn a profit while you're at it.
That's all for this episode of The Deep Dive. Until next time, stay sharp and don't get played.